How you doing? The college football season starts tomorrow night. Very excited, and then the first week, the first Saturday is this Saturday, but there's some games tomorrow night, Thursday, and then Friday. So I thought it would be a good time to post a video and give my predictions for this college football season. Uh, Hopefully I get some right. It's just fun to talk about uh, making the predictions. So I'll give who I think will win each conference, who I think will be in each BCS bowl game, and who will win those games. So I'll just start with the conferences. The Big East, there's a lot of changes. They lost West Virginia, who was the best team, would have been the best team this year probably. They won it last year, so they lost them. They gained a few members. They're gaining a couple more next year. But for this year, I think Louisville will win the conference. They got a pretty good team coming back. They have a good coach and Charlie Strong. They have a good defense, and yeah, so I think Louisville will win the Big East. In the ACC, in the Atlantic Division, I think Florida State will win that division. They've got a really good team. They had a not a tough year last year, but they were supposed to be better than they actually were last year. They returned a lot of guys on defense, and also their quarterback EJ Manuel, who, if he stays healthy, is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And then in the Coastal, I think that Virginia Tech will win that division. They have Florida State, they have an awesome quarterback. And Virginia Tech also, they'll have just an amazing defense. I think they'll have the best. Virginia Tech will have the best defense in the ACC, and possibly even the nation. And they'll have really good offensive lines. I'm not sure the running back's going to be yet because they lost David Wilson. He went to the NFL, but they always have a good running back coming up. And I love Logan Thomas at quarterback. I think he's one of the best. He'll be one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He's my sleeper Heisman pick. If you're looking for one of them, Logan Thomas, he's really good. So that's who I think will win each division. And in the ACC championship game between Florida State and Virginia Tech, I think Virginia Tech will win that. So for the ACC, I have Virginia Tech winning. Big 12 this year, I have Texas Hook'em Horns winning the Big 12. I really like Texas this year. I think they'll have a great team. I think they might have the best defense in the entire nation. They could. They have two awesome players, Jackson Jeffcoat and Okafor, and Kenny Vaccaro. They got a ton of talent on the defense. And then running back, they have a couple of good receivers. Jackson Shipley and Mike Davis are coming back. Marquise Goodwin, who was in the Olympics. And then they have a bunch of good running backs, Malcolm Brown and Joey Bergeron from last year. And then they have a star freshman coming in, Jonathan Gray. They'll have a good offensive line. The question with Texas is their quarterback play. They recently announced that David Ash will be their starter. My guess is that they'll do at least for some of the games, do like a two quarterback system with David Ash and Case McCoy. We'll see who winds up being the starter, but assuming they get good quarterback play, they'll be really good. So Texas, I have one in the Big 12. Moving on to the SEC in the West, which has been the better division in recent years. I think Alabama will win it this year. The defending national champs actually didn't win the SEC West last year, but I think they will this year. I think that they'll beat Michigan in week 1, which doesn't count towards the SEC title out of conference, but I think they'll beat Michigan in the first week. And then they start their SEC schedule, I believe, in the third week against Arkansas, and I think they'll win that game. And I think they'll win pretty much all of their SEC games. And I think obviously the toughest game is probably LSU, and this year they play at LSU. And I think Alabama is just going to be a better team than LSU this year. So I think Alabama will win that game, and I think that they'll win the SEC West. Looking at Alabama's roster, they're really good. They did lose a lot, but they return a lot, and they'll have a lot of first-year starters who will be really good. and they get back AJ McCarron, the quarterback, who played really well, especially towards the end of last year, and then they have Eddie Lacy at running back, who will be really good, assuming he stays healthy. They have a really good offensive line. Barrett Jones, who won the Outland Trophy, I think he's switching to center this year. And then they have a couple of good tight ends and receivers, and then their defense should be amazing again. They get a lot back on the defensive line. Jesse Williams, Dial, and then they do lose a couple linebackers, but they get back C.J. Mosley, Nico Johnson, Trey DePriest is good. They also have a couple of recruits coming in at linebacker. They return a couple of guys in the secondary. D. Milner. They have a junior college guy. I forget his name. He's going to start a cornerback, and he's supposed to be really good. So it might take a while for the talent to mesh, but I think once it does, they'll be a great team again. So I think that Alabama will win the SEC West and the SEC East. I think Georgia will win. They won in that East last year, and I think they'll win it again this year. I think that once again they have just an awesome defense. Jarvis Jones is probably their best defensive player. They have a bunch of really good guys on defense. On offense, they get back their quarterback Aaron Murray, who's good. And then they did lose Isaiah Crowell, the running back. He got kicked off the team. They do have some weapons on the offense. So I think that they'll win the East, and then so that'll be the SEC championship game, Alabama versus Georgia, and I think that Alabama will win that game, and so Alabama I think will be the SEC champs. Moving on to the Big Ten. In the Legends division, I have Michigan State winning it this year. I think they won it last year too. They play in the Big Ten championship game. Michigan State they do lose a lot on offense, but they have an awesome. I'll get to that in a second. But they have an awesome defense led by Golston, the defensive lineman. He's excellent. They have a bunch of really good linebackers, good secondary. Will have one of the best. They'll probably have the best defense in the Big Ten, and one of the best in the nation, up there with Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Virginia Tech. Common theme: the best defenses here, but all these teams have good offenses too. And then Virginia Tech, they return their running back Le'Veon Bell, who's really good. Could have a breakout year. Their new quarterback's gonna be Maxwell, so they'll probably have to rely on Bell early. But I think as the season goes on, Maxwell will definitely get better. And then so I think they'll win the Legends division. And the Leaders division is kind of not at full strength, shall we say, this year, because Ohio State is can't have any postseason play, whether it's a Big Ten championship or a bowl game, and neither can Penn State. And they're both in the Leaders division, so kind of by default, I have Wisconsin winning the Leaders division. And really, even if those two teams did play, I think Wisconsin still might win that division. I think that Ohio State probably will beat them this year. Ohio State will beat Wisconsin. That it'll be a close game. But yeah, so I have Wisconsin winning. They're good. Once again, they return the running back Monte Ball. I don't think they'll be nearly as good as they were last year, partially because they lose Russell Wilson. They lose a couple of receivers and a bunch of offensive linemen, even though they'll probably just replenish that. But yeah, I don't think they'll be quite as good as they were last year, but I do think they'll be good and win the short-handed Leaders division. And then I think in the Big Ten championship game, it's a rematch of the game last year, Michigan State versus Wisconsin. But this year, I have Michigan State from the Legends division winning it. And the Pac-12, it should be improved this year. There's, you could say it's top-heavy with Oregon, USC, possibly Stanford, maybe Utah. But there should be more depth this year. There's a bunch of new coaches, and a lot of the teams that were in the middle to lower pack should be better, should be a lot more competitive with those top teams. But no surprise, I have Oregon winning the North and USC winning the South. yeah. So and those two teams play on November 3rd, I think. Um, and then if they both win their each division, they'd have a rematch in the Pac-12 championship game. As for each team, Oregon, once again, they should have an amazing, electrifying offense with Kenyon. They lose the quarterback and the running back, Thomas and Michael James, but they get back Kenyon Barner, DeAnthony Thomas. They have Marcus Mariota was recently named the starting quarterback. So I don't think they'll miss much on their offense. I think it'll be just as prolific as it's been. And their defense should be pretty good. It has been somewhat of a liability in the last couple of years, but it should be a strength this year for them. And if it is, look out. They could be a really dangerous team. And then in the South, USC. USC is an interesting team because they have Matt Barkley at quarterback, and then Robert Woods and Marquise Lee, and then they got Silas Fred from Penn State at running back. So yeah, USC should be good. They don't have a ton of depth, partially because of all of the scholarship productions that they've had. So if they have injuries, that that could be danger. But I think that they'll navigate through the schedule and win the South. And then in the Pac-12 championship game, I think Oregon will win. I really like this Oregon team. Yeah, assuming they stay healthy, and really even if they don't, they've had injuries in the past couple of years, and it doesn't seem to slow them down. It's just plug your next guy in, and he'll do what other guys have done. So I think they'll be really good as they've been. So yeah, Oregon winning the Pac-12 championship game over USC. And then in the 5 bowl games, I'll give the matchups and then my projected matchups, and then who I think will win. In the Sugar Bowl, I've projected Georgia versus Nebraska. Rose, I have Oregon versus Kansas State. Fiesta, Texas versus Stanford. Orange, Virginia Tech versus Louisville. And the national championship game, Alabama versus Michigan State. So now I'll give the winner. Sugar Bowl, I should have just gone through this, but yeah, Georgia and Nebraska. Georgia because they'll take if Alabama's in the national championship game. Georgia would then be in the Sugar Bowl, assuming there's not 2 SEC and SEC teams in the national championship game like there was last year. Then there'd be 2 other teams in the Sugar Bowl, but I don't think Georgia will quite be in the national championship. So I think that's how they'll get their spot in the Sugar Bowl. And in Nebraska, I think will be an at-large or whatever it's called team into their because I think they'll be the second best team in the Big Ten, but they won't be able to play for Big Ten championship game because I think they'll be second to Michigan State in their division, but I think they'll get a spot in the Sugar Bowl. And then in that game, I think Georgia will win with their defense and their quarterback Murray, and I think they'll get better as the year goes on, somewhat as they did last year. Rose Bowl, Oregon versus Kansas State. Oregon because they're the Pac-12 champs, and then Kansas State I have in there because Michigan State's in the national championship. So Kansas State, I think, who led by Colin Klein, who I think they could be the second best team in the Big 12 behind Texas. So I think they'll get a spot in the Rose Bowl, and I'm gonna go for a little bit of an upset there and take Kansas State to win the Rose Bowl. That'd be interesting. So yeah, Kansas State winning the Rose Bowl. And in Fiesta, I have Texas versus Stanford. Texas is there for winning the Big 12, and in Stanford, who was there last year as the at-large team. And then I think Texas will win that game, led by their amazing defense, their running game, their line, and hopefully they'll get good quarterback play there. So hook 'em horns. Orange Bowl, I have the ACC winner Virginia Tech playing the Big East winner Louisville, and I have Virginia Tech winning that game, led by Logan Thomas and their really good defense. And then the national championship game, I have Alabama versus Michigan State. That'd be a great game because Alabama is the defending champs. Michigan State returns Le'Veon Bell, and a really strong defense. And I have Alabama roll tide roll, winning back-to-back national championships. I think Nick Saban's team is looking really good again. Um, I think they'll be right back there, and I think they'll beat Michigan State to win the national championship. So thanks for watching. Let's have an awesome college football season, just like last year. It should be awesome. I can't wait for this weekend and every weekend of this season. So thanks for watching. Let's get the season started.